What's up, guys? This is the Philosophical Doomer, aka Luplenia, and what I wanted to talk about today was life, right? And how life in this world is a fight. You know what I'm saying? It's a fight for territory. You got to fight to be here. And I think Marcus Aurelius said it the best. Marcus Aurelius said that life, right, is warfare and a far journey from home. And I remember when I was a kid, when I was like in kindergarten, in the first grade, you know what I'm saying, how people used to pick on me and people used to try to bully me, and I would fight back, and I'd be winning fights. You know what I'm saying? I used to fight back, and how people used to I used to fight back, and people some people gained the respect for me, and other people didn't, and I was so bad. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much had like behavior problems or whatever like that. And so pretty much what happened was the teacher, my kindergarten teacher, she moved me to another kindergarten class, you know what I'm saying, without my mother's permission or whatever like that. And she was like really, really mean to me because I guess, the reputation of me, the reputation of me fighting or whatever like that. Like that teacher made all different types of lies about me. She said I was writing homicidal notes and stuff like that, talking about, you know what I'm saying, I was going to do this or do that to the school or whatever like that, which is a lie. She said I was writing pictures or whatever like that, which was a lie. She just didn't like me and she just wanted me out of her room. And they switched my room without my mother's permission. And I went to the other lady's class and she was like super mean to me. And, you know what I'm saying, she hit me with she hit me with one of those wooden center blocks. They had like wooden center blocks like that were like for kids or whatever like that. They were similar to like Lego. She hit me with one of those. I remember her hitting me with one of those. And my mom, I told my mother, I went home and told my mother, and my mother came up to the school. My mother was furious. My mother was like right at the lady or whatever like that. And after that, they put me in the care program, and the care program was brutal. You know what I'm saying? The care program, I was in the program with other kids who had behavioral problems. And a lot of and I was like, the care program, it didn't really have like grades. You know what I'm saying? They just pretty much bunched a whole different kids together, from different grades. So it was kids in there that were bigger than me. There were kids in there that, that were around the same age as me. You know what I'm saying? But I was pretty much the smallest one. And you know what I'm saying? I remember my first day, I almost got jumped in the bathroom. I ran outside the bathroom. And I was getting picked and bullied, you know what I'm saying, in the care program. And I remember the first day, I was the first person in the care program that I actually fought back. His name was Lewis. And he just kept on talking, you were this, you were that. And I just hauled off and hit him. And I remember how, after that fight, after I hit him and I whooped him, how people had more respect for me. Right? And that's what I mean when I say that life in this world, you know what I'm saying, is a fight. You know what I'm saying? It's a fight for territory. People respect the people that fight. That fight back. You know what I'm saying? At least even if you don't win. You know what I'm saying? Still put up a fight. And I kept that fire in me probably from the second grade all the way to like the 8th grade and 9th grade. I kind of like lost it. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of like lost it, and I kind of like got more into like books and philosophy and stuff like that. And when you read stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, you kind of like delve into like the area of what people say to you don't matter. You know what I'm saying? How people perceive you don't matter, but it does, right? Because if you let people talk to you any type of way, and I got like a really, really bad habit of doing this, but if you let people talk to you a certain way, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna think you a P. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna think you're a pushover. You know what I'm saying? And they're just gonna become more and more and more disrespectful to you. And I kind of have like a bad habit, you know what I'm saying, of letting people say whatever they want to me and saying, oh, it doesn't matter, and it does, right? Because when you do that, you make yourself a target. Right, and it's the same thing on these jobs, like when I worked at Lowe's, you know what I'm saying, when I worked at Amazon, when I worked at Walmart, Walmart was the worst. You know what I'm saying? I let people talk to me however they want. I let people talk to me however they want, and they just got more disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of different though, because you're an adult. You can't just haul off and kind of like go in somebody's mouth. And a lot of the people I was working with at Walmart, they were minors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But like, I do need to get better at that. Like, I do need to like, and I do get back to people, but it's very, the way that I get back at people, it's very, how can I say? It's very, what's that word? It's very like indirect. The way I get back at people, and I just need to be, you know, I need that fire back when I was a kid to be more direct with people or whatever like that. So people won't disrespect me or whatever like that. And I'm kind of going through, you know, a similar thing at the college I'm going to now. You know what I'm saying? We're so in my program, like nobody really respects me or whatever like that. Like even though, you know, we're men in this position or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? And people really don't respect us or value us because the way we look. I still think, you know what I'm saying, men in this position, we should still fight back. You know what I'm saying? They're going to know not to, you know, put their hands on us. Not saying that people put their hands on me, because they haven't, but I've been in situations where, like last year when I was in my program, you know, this dude over the summertime, I remember I walked into the classroom, but the dude, he kind of like, Ben didn't like me or whatever like that, because, you know, so basically we got to do this, we got to do, you know, work on the, in my program, we got to do like work on the laptop or whatever like that. And, you know, I'm pretty good at that, doing work on the laptop or whatever thing like that. And the dude, you know what I'm saying, he does the work on the laptop and he can't figure out the answers, but the work on the program that we're doing, it literally gives you the answers in the text. And I kind of be laughing like, listen, man, like the answer's right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like get this wrong. The answer, they're literally telling you the answer or whatever like that. And I guess he, you know, he felt some type of way, or he got like offended or whatever like that. And I guess he felt some type of way, or he got offended. Anyway, it wasn't that deep. And I remember during the summer class, because during the summer class we had advanced electrical, and you know, advanced electrical, they only run advanced electrical in the summer. And me and him had advanced electrical, and I guess when I was coming into class that day, that wasn't one of my best looking days. And like, he kind of like gave me this look of disgust, like he's ugly as hell. And you know what I'm saying, from that point on, you know what I'm saying, he kind of was like, his disposition towards me got worse. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, he started to get like really, really disrespectful. And you know, by the looks of me, like people would look at me and be like, yo, it's easy to tell this guy, you know, is a pushover. This guy can't fight or whatever like that. And you know, when I was younger, I didn't want people to see me like that. I mean, I still don't want people to see me like that. But you know what I'm saying, I do know how to defend myself. I do know how to box. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, right, it can kind of work towards your advantage, because if they see you as a pushover and they see that you, and they see you as a person that like he doesn't know how to fight, right, and you actually do, right, you can take them by surprise. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really wasn't scared, right? I may not have been as direct as I should have been, you know what I'm saying, when he was getting really disrespectful, but I also wasn't scared. I was prepared, you know what I'm saying? I was centered, you know what I'm saying? I was confident in my own ability to defend myself. And that's another thing. I think men in this space need to learn how to defend themselves, you know, mixed martial arts, boxing, you know, some type of striking martial art or whatever like that. You need to learn how to defend yourself. And I remember I was in the comments of another video. I forgot what video I commented on, and I was like, what do you think about, you know, martial arts? And he was like, you know, martial arts is, and the person was like, martial arts is good, but I would get a projectile. And I was pretty much like, you know, all right, well, what if you get into a situation where, you know what I'm saying, you really can't use, you know what I'm saying, that projectile or whatever like that. Like I live in PA, you know what I'm saying, and in PA, or the state of Pennsylvania, You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole lot of regulations, you know what I'm saying, on projectiles. Like, there's a whole lot of regulation on them, right? There's so much regulation on them. There's no point in even getting one. And you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much, I was at a point where I pretty much was like, no, like, I'd rather learn how to fight, because, right, you could get into a situation where, so, you know what I'm saying, you get a projectile, you get your license, you use it, you know what I'm saying, to defend yourself, and then you wind up in jail, you wind up in prison. Right, and they have all these, you know, silly laws, like, you know, you know what I'm saying, one part of the projectile, you know, can't be attached to another part of the projectile. Two different parts of the projectile have to be in two different parts of the car. It's almost like, what is the point of using it? And you know what I'm saying, the state, you know what I'm saying, the state pretty much, you know, I think they're taking a position of, you know, we don't want to take, we don't want to take, you know what I'm saying, the people's rights to use projectiles away from them, because we're going to get a whole lot of backlash from that, because that's against the Second Amendment. But you know what I'm saying, so, right, what we're going to do is we're going to put so much regulation on these projectiles, you know what I'm saying, even if people have them, they can't even use them. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, from my perspective, I think it's good for a man in this position, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to fight, you know what I'm saying, to learn how to box, to learn how to defend yourself, you know, learn something or whatever like that, so you can be more confident in your ability, you know, to defend yourself. And I remember, I think we was like, back to dude, I think we were because, you know, at my school you have different jobs come in. You have different jobs come in. They pretty much give you an overview of the job. They bring us to a room. They pretty much give us an overview of the job, what it's like working there. You know, I'm in automotive, so what they shop look like. You know what I'm saying? What are all the benefits and perks and stuff like that of working at their company. And the dude, I think the dude, he got a record. You know, and I'm not scared of that. You know, just because you got a record, that don't mean you tough. And the dude pretty much was like, you know, are they felon friendly? You know what I'm saying? And I never heard that term before. So, you know, like, I was laughing and I was laughing. And the dude right next to me was laughing. He said he never heard that term before either. And something about, you know, he was like, you know, what is so funny, this, that, and the third, you know, blasey, blasey, blasey. And like, once we left the classroom and went upstairs, he's like, you know, what is so funny? What's this? What's blasey, blasey, blasey? And I was telling him, like, listen, man, like, it's not that funny. Like, I wasn't necessarily laughing at you. I was just laughing at the term that you used, because I never heard it before. I never heard felon friendly. And I heard that, like, you hear that term a lot when you work at, like, warehouses, or you work at those kind of like dead end jobs where a lot of those people where records work, right? A lot of those jobs are like felon friendly. You know, I never really worked at one of those type of places, so I'm not really familiar with that term. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he was ready to fight. His blood was boiling, and I still was talking to him. I still was walking up to him, right? And I was ready for him to swing on me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the other people in my classroom, they was like, man, don't walk up on him. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man, he got a record, and you know, don't walk up on him or whatever like that. You know, he's gonna do this to you. He's gonna do that to you. And I wasn't scared. You know what I'm saying? You know, my mind frame was, I wish he would. You know, I wish he would. And while he was walking away, I pretty much was like, you know, following him, trying to talk to him, because I was ready for him to swing on me. Like, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. You know what I'm saying? And everything kind of like calmed down. Afterwards, you know what I'm saying, he, you know, me and him, he pulled me outside of class. The dude that was, I guess somebody talked to him or whatever like that, and they pretty much told him, like, just talk to me. So we came out of class, you know, we were talking, you know what I'm saying, we were, you know, he pulled me out of the classroom, he was talking to me, we shook hands, you know what I'm saying, we fake squash it. He still had a problem with me or whatever like that. We was cool at first, but it was like, the respect still kind of like, would fade off or whatever like that. He would come in, he would shake people's hands, and he wouldn't shake my hand. You know what I'm saying? Or the handshake he would give me, it wasn't genuine, it wasn't real. You know what I'm saying? And the point I'm trying to push forward is, if me and that dude would have gotten to a fight, you're right, and I would have whooped him, you know what I'm saying, he would have respected me more, right? Because people respect violence. And I remember in the I didn't watch the whole movie, but I remember in Gladiator 2, you know what I'm saying, when the when the dude, you know, was captured and he was a slave and he became a gladiator. You know what I'm saying? You know, his Betty Artis, his slave master or whatever like that, you know, pretty much was trying to talk to him and he was just ignoring him. And the dude was like, I understand. He was like, let's try the universal language, you know, violence. You know what I'm saying? And when he said that scene kind of really, you know, spoke to me, because that's what people understand. That's what people, you know what I'm saying, respect. People respect violence. And I pretty much want to end this video saying this: be the rock that the waves crash over. It stands unmoved as the raging of the sea falls still around it.